So there was talk of human beatboxing. Now that we all are like in, do you guys want to try a little bit?
No.
I'm too scared, but
Sarah's more open to that than me.
You guys build. Oh, you go. I'll build. You go. I'll
That's
build.
pretty good.
Yeah. Baseline, Michael. It's beard time. This is the theme song. Okay, sorry.
We're singing Hammond melody in my old Kentucky home. Kentucky.
Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Kentucky Commons Radio Hour. I'm joined tonight by one John Ronayne, David Satterley, myself, Michael Moeller at Brewgrass Homebrew Supply in Louisville, Kentucky, and two very special guests that we'll get to here in just a second. But if you're listening to this, it means that you might like this show, and if you do like this show, just go ahead and give us 5 stars, because you probably haven't done that yet. If you've previously given us 3 stars or 4 stars, maybe reconsider giving it to 5, but let's be honest, you probably haven't reviewed it at all. So you just need to actually review, period.
You son of a bitch.
Absolutely. But we also have a Patreon as well. If you want to pay tribute to us in that way, for $3 a month, you can see everything that we're doing right now. And you can see our special guests that we have with us right in front of you before we've even introduced them. And that's worth $3 a month, isn't it, David?
Definitely.
And where do you find that content?
You find that on patreon.com/KY Commons.
I will say, like, paying homage, whatever you said, paying homage to us.
Tribute. Pay tribute.
Yeah. No. If you want to support the work of telling stories around Louisville media, Louisville beer, and kind of Louisville community building media, that's our mission. We would love to have you on board.
Pay tribute to us.
Yeah. Okay, fine.
Speaking of paying tribute, I'm also happy to be joined today by one Katie Molck and Sarah Shadburne from LOUToday /6 a.m. City. Guys, welcome to the show.
thanks for having me.
Yeah, thank you.
Before we get to a little bit about you two specifically, can you give us an overview about what 6 a.m. does and what LOUToday is?
Yeah, I can take this one, even though I sent it to you already, but just kidding. Yes.
This is the elevator pitch portion of the podcast.
LOUToday is a new media company in Louisville. Like he said, our parent company is called 6 a.m. They're across 25 different cities in the U.S. Louisville launched last August. We've been around for 1 year. But basically, we're a free daily newsletter. Every day at 6 a.m., it hits your inbox, and it's a 5-minute read just full of everything Louisville. We just do positive stuff, lots of events, lots of small business building, all that good stuff. So just a quick read to learn more about Louisville.
Hell yeah.
It's a newsletter that comes into my inbox every morning, 6 a.m., Monday through Friday.
That's right.
It's a lot of good content.
You guys are hot with it too. You guys
Thank you.
are often the people who break stories to me, this person who like doesn't know things, but like, yeah, I get that email in my inbox and I'm like, oh, this is happening. This is happening.
Yeah.
So good. Hats off. Very
Thank
well
you.
done. Yeah.
And I can't read that well, so
Lots of good pictures too, and a good Instagram account.
We can make a special newsletter for you with smaller words.
But on a serious note, like I can't go a week without somebody asking me, "Oh, hey, have you guys Louisville Ale Trail? Have you connected with the LOUToday yet? Do you know them?" And like that is something I hear usually from just like LinkedIn nerds that I see out and about, like on Market Street. Shout out Jordan Clemens.
Yep.
And that's just like what I hear all the time. So I'm really happy to have you all on the podcast and joining us. So that way, maybe if they do listen to the podcast, we can be like, yeah, see, we connected, we met, we know each other actually
shut up.
in person. It's great. I do want to learn a little bit about yourselves. So Sarah, why don't you start off a little bit about where you've come from and your current role with that. But as you're doing that, David, can you also open up that special beer that we are about to pour for each other?
Oh,
No, yeah, no, we do have a special beer. A new segment that we're working on is the top-rated beer from each brewery in Louisville. And if we happen to have it on hand, we're gonna try it. So today we have the Against the Grain 70K aged on Amburana wood. This is the top-rated untapped beer from Against the Grain. So I'm gonna get this poured up, and you take it away, Sarah.
sweet. Thank you. Wow, where to begin? I'm from Louisville. I've been here since I was a kid. I went to Ballard High School. Shout out to the Bruins. I was previously a reporter for Business First. covering bourbon and logistics and banking. And so that kind of helped me get my legs as a reporter here, covering local issues and various topics. And yeah, I also like to cover arts and culture stuff. I'm a bit of a homebody, but I do like to go out and do some of the events that we put in the newsletter. And yeah, I feel like I have a cat. I'm a Taurus. What else do you need to know? You know,
I mean, that just about covers it. I mean, after
right? 360 degrees.
And
a
Katie?
full look.
Yeah, actually, this is a little symbolic that we're drinking the Against the Grain 70K Amburana wood because I actually made that label.
Oh, nice.
Yes, not the artwork, but I did put that together. I believe it's a gold winner for American Beer Fest, I think.
Yep, that
Just
sounds
winning
right.
some awards. I
Sounds
was there.
accurate.
But yeah, I guess that's a good place to start for me is that I actually used to be the marketing director at Against the Grain. So I actually know you guys, have known you guys. It's been a long time coming that I would be on this podcast.
Yeah.
But I'm at LOUToday now. My background's always been in writing. I did stuff with Louisville Magazine for a long time, and Louisville.com prior to that before they merged. So yeah, I've always just kind of been in the Louisville scene, writing about beer, food, music, stuff like that. So it's kind of cool to be in a more formal setting. So yeah, that's my background. Should we cheers these? Or-
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes, totally. Thank you guys for coming on, and thank you guys for everything that you do.
Thank you.
Thank you to Against the Grain for
I
making
cheers exactly
wild
one
beers.
person.
Oh, yes, absolutely. And Amburana wood, that's coming from Brazil. Nice, different kind of wood that previously brewers weren't really that into, right?
Yeah. People compare. I always think on the nose to me. So we show 70K is just a gigantic stout, basically. So you're getting all
35K
the
double.
traditional. Yeah. Yeah. What was the original recipe? 35K or 70K?
35K.
Okay, because that's what they won the beard thing with or whatever.
So it's actually milk stout. It doesn't say it on the label, but it is still.
A little lactee in there.
Yeah.
Little L train.
But that's actually, I believe, the barrel that was in the Amburana wood barrel. There were only 2. There was 13, I think, that came to the States, and Against the Grain got 2. No other brewery got them. They all went to distilleries, actually, across
Nice.
the U.S.
Yeah.
I could be wrong about the 13, but it was higher than 10, less than 20.
Yeah, and
Okay,
these are
insider knowledge.
Yeah, totally.
these are specially sourced specifically for this beer.
Mm-hmm.
They ended up submitting it to the 2018 Great American Beer Festival, winning gold for barrel aged strong stout, which is a very competitive category for that. And really, this beer was a great expression of the highlight of that barrel and the time they let it sit there. 70K comes out every year seasonally. And is like that scaled up version of 35K milk stout into a bourbon barrel. So this is a really special beer, and I gotta say, after
It's holding
4
up.
years, it's holding up just fine.
You get the tasting notes. It's just big and robust. If I didn't know there was lactose in there, but now that you say that, it does smooth it out. But the Amburana is the star of the show here. That wood is so
Spicy.
unlike oak or a lot of the more even maple to some extent. It reminds me more of cedar. The way someone described it once was like putting a cigar in a humidor. It kind of dries it out, makes it toasty and kind of crispy, which ordinarily would be overpowering. And I have had Amburana beers that were overpowering, but again, maybe that lactose kind of rounds this out. It's fantastic.
I definitely taste cinnamon.
Yeah,
That's what
it's
I
a-
get
it's
off
always
the
same
barrel.
here. Same
Always
here.
is cinnamon.
Yep.
I'm getting chocolate. I
Definitely
think it's
chocolate,
a rich
cacao,
chocolate.
kind of
The the base always is very chocolate forward, big cocoa, melty chocolate. But yeah, this barrel just screams cinnamon.
yeah.
And there was contention about how to pronounce Amburana.
Oh, yeah.
What was the other way to say it?
Amburana.
No.
Ooh.
I don't know.
So Katie, we know your background, touches beer a little bit. Sarah, do you, as far as thoughts on beer, Louisville beer specifically?
Yeah, actually, it's funny. I was just talking to Katie about this, but I love sour beers, which I don't know if that's that exciting, but
Oh, it is. Yeah.
I love Atrium sour beers. Their pastry boys of any flavor just stun me. They're so delicious. I'm tasting pie. Every time I'm trying them, I'm like, wow, this is awesome. I'm trying not to cuss
No, you
as
can.
I'm talking about it. Okay.
You can.
They're
If you don't
fucking
want to, that's-
delicious.
We can do the
Like-
George Carlin lineup if you want. Shit, piss, cunt, cocksucker, motherfucker. What I can't remember all the words, but yeah, you can say them.
Excellent.
Yeah, you don't get that kind of leniency at Lou Business First.
No.
Which, by the way, I will say that's kind of how we first connected. I used
Yes.
to bug you a lot via email.
But it was appreciated. You got me some good stories, and obviously, you know, now we're on a podcast together. So
I will say this is how most of like Michael's meeting people stories seem to begin.
I
Like,
bug you a lot.
Yeah. It's a good strategy, man. It's working out.
I bugged Katie a lot one time too.
Yeah.
And then she didn't hire me.
Well, she's smart.
Let's not-
She's a smart lady.
No comments.
Oh yeah. Well, I do want to ask though, the Louisville beer scene at large, just your general thoughts on it from the side of things that you're at now with 6 a.m. LOUToday.
How does it fit into the rest of Louisville? Because you guys touch everything, really. You guys are on like food, events, like weird people doing weird things for like human interest stories or like whatever. How does beer fit into Louisville?
I can speak to this a little bit just because I came from that community. So it's a little strange to be on the opposite side where like I was working it and now it's a little bit more of showcasing it with other people who might not typically be into craft beer. We do cover it. I wouldn't say like a lot, but we definitely have like a beer guide. Sarah, we go out and actually most of our meetings take place at breweries. We've definitely tried to hit them a lot, but I think it's important to showcase in a bourbon city, craft beer. I think it's just as important as what else goes on here in terms of liquids. So I think it's important to us to definitely highlight the makers of a different kind of product that maybe people don't know comes out of Louisville as much.
Right. And it's kind of like an art form too, you know, like any person who creates something is inherently interesting to me. So I feel like the beer story fits well with the rest of the Lou story.
That was you just kind of touched on a point that I always find very interesting about how we're growing as a beer city too, which is oftentimes when I go to a brewery, it's not to necessarily like drink. It's for like a meeting or it's for like, it's a good third. We talk sometimes about like the third space. Like you're not at home. You're not technically at work, even though if you're having meetings there. If you're weird people like us, you might be at work. But it's a great place to kind of go and just not be at home, not be at work, to kind of do other things, a decompression zone or like a creative thinking zone. So that's, to me, one of the most fun things about having all these tap rooms all around town that are like creators and making things and small businesses is like, it's just a very fun space to be in, like in almost all the tap rooms around town. And creative things usually come out of like sitting in a tap room for like 8 hours pretending you're working.
Yeah. I love that people meet there because you don't understand like what 2 beers will do to your creative spirit. really ratchet it up a notch.
I mean, we understand.
Yeah.
But also,
That's
I
all
think
we do.
I'm ratchet.
beer gets a pass though. Like you can definitely be like on a Zoom call and drinking a beer and nobody will say anything versus like you're not like slamming like a gin and tonic or like taking a shot in a Zoom call, but you can definitely be like, yeah, I'm having a beer.
What if I was drinking this entire bottle?
Nobody would know. Nobody knows.
What if you were like
How would they
explicitly
know?
doing it?
You all put out so much content though as an organization. Is it just you two?
Yes.
Yes.
That's so impressive.
Yeah,
Because
it's
like
a lot.
so many stories, so much curation. You must know Louisville better now than you might have ever before. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, I feel like that's fair. There's still a lot more to learn though. Like as I go around different corners and stuff, I see different things that are interesting. I'm like, oh, that's something for LOUToday that I don't know about yet. So I really like that element. It's like there's still a lot to explore though. There's many stones that we've already turned.
Do you know
There's
what a
more.
whiz burger is?
Yes, I had a Dizzy Whiz Burger in like 6th grade after a choir thing. I used to be in choir. Shout out.
Shout out to choir.
Shout out to the altos.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, I really like Dizzy Whiz. I haven't been back in a while.
All right, Dizzy Whiz or Ollie's Trolley? Do you guys
Ollie's
have
Trolley.
Ollie's?
Yeah, I agree.
Especially
I agree.
if it's-
it's different. It's a
Especially-
different animal.
It is.
Yeah.
Toasties.
Dell or Dairy Castle?
Castle.
I'm Dell. We actually did a piece of content
I know
about
you guys
this,
did.
and
Yeah,
I
it was
believe
controversial.
it was. I can't remember who won.
It was awesome.
I think Daredale came out on top, but I'm not sure. I'll have to go back and look, but it was definitely almost like 50-50.
Of
But
all the things for people to be upset about, ice cream wars are the most benign.
For the listeners, there's 2 places like near in Germantown, Schnitzelberg that serve just kind of like cheap, good ice cream, and it's very contentious.
Not cheap.
Well,
not cheap. It is
yeah.
expensive.
But you know what? Only one actually accepts credit cards,
That's Daredale.
and only
Cash
one
only,
has a
Dairy Castle.
drive-through.
Yeah.
Daredale.
Yeah.
See,
Dairy
you
Castle's
see
still better.
Dairy
my
Dale.
girl. Dairy Castle for the win.
Agreed.
They also
Agreed.
closed early. so.
I'm glad there are some intelligent people in this podcast.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Well, point is, you all know Louisville pretty well. We see that, but we also want to know how well you might actually know it. So we decided to
Oh, God.
turn our typical Reddit segment where we talk about beer or whiskey into a Louisville edition Reddit question.
This is more
I'm ready.
advice than like quizzing.
Yes, exactly.
What is Reddit? I'm
Let's
just
do
kidding.
it.
What is Reddit? All right. So, if we are ready, this first one comes from, this is not my other UN. Bars, restaurants with a back room to rent for a murder mystery party.
Oh shit.
Like the
What?
title says, I'm looking for a place to rent to host a murder mystery party. I would like to have a cash bar for the guests and appetizers for finger foods. I'd like to keep the room under 400 if possible. It's for my wife for her birthday.
This feels like a trick question because I feel like the Hyatt downtown does this.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they host like a murder mystery thing because my friend used to bartend at them.
Hell yeah.
And it sounded like it was fun, but I don't know.
I'd have to say Monarch because they have
That's
the
kinda-
upstairs you can
yeah,
rent,
that's
and
good.
there's a bar up there, and it's definitely capped under 400. So I would say Monarch.
That's a good answer.
David, John?
I don't know. 400 is a large number.
Less than.
Less than. Well, that opens up anything. I mean, we could do
Could
it
be
in the
two
back of the
people.
homebrew shop if we really need to. But
I will actually murder someone if you host it here. Like things can get real fast. No, Monarch is that's a good shout out. And I think like who has the underground grotto downtown? Is that Steelbach that has like the underground?
Oh,
I
the,
think
like,
they do
rat
murder shit.
skeleton?
Oh, yeah, the rat
rat
skeleton.
Yeah, that's the seal
I
block.
think they do stuff like that down there too.
Well, it doesn't matter so much about what they do, like if they're already doing it. It's where's a good location
venues.
for
Yeah,
that.
yeah. That's a
Gertie's
good
too
one.
in Nulu. They have the whole speakeasy downstairs that now they're renting only. You can't even like go down there to get a drink anymore.
To that point, Flamingo Lounge
Flamingo Lounge, yeah.
ATG. Yeah,
upstairs at Silver Dollar?
Oh yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, that would be a good one too.
I like the silver dollar.
have y'all ever attended a murder mystery party before?
Not
No.
never.
I've
weird.
done like
We could start one now. I'm just kidding.
I mean, that would be a pretty freaking cool collab, honestly, if you guys are down. I've been writing one for the past 12 years. I can break all the like, prompts and stuff if you guys are interested.
Wow, show us your scripts.
Yeah. We'll talk.
Well, the Kentucky State Fair is going on right now, and this next one is coming from user Fresh Leggings.
Darius Rucker.
I love a pair
That's
of
the
fresh
answer.
leggings.
Hi, I'll be in town this weekend for the fair. What are your favorite family-friendly things to do on a Sunday? What does Louisville have to offer for families
Outside of the fair.
outside of the fair?
Okay. The zoo.
The zoo.
Science Center, number one.
Science Center, that's a great.
The
one.
Speed Art Museum is free on Sundays.
Oh,
Thank
that's
you, Brian
that's a
Foreman.
great call out. Is Cart Country still open? You ever go to the batting cages, drive some go karts? Come on.
Did you know
That's
it's the
family
longest
friendly.
track? The longest
Yeah.
go-kart track? I
And
just
they had
learned
go
this.
karts that would go 60 miles an hour when we were
Dangerous.
kids. It's like that can't be right.
It's really nice that E-Town can claim that.
Yeah, yeah.
They need something.
Mega caverns. That's a strange thing to do. And you say family friendly.
Yep.
Go to Holsopple. Go to some of the family friendly breweries around town and play some board games, eat a pizza, just get some mom and dad time.
You could go to the Waterfront Botanical Gardens.
Ooh,
as
there you
well,
go. That's
because that's
fantastic.
also super free and lovely.
The only thing better than free is super free.
It's super free. It's not
And-
just regular
and
free.
The Fraser History Museum.
Yeah, that's another
Yes.
good call out.
I love the Fraser.
Not
the
free, but
Fraser.
incredibly educational.
And while you're
Definitely worth it.
downtown, you can also hit up the Slugger the Slugger factory tour and the Louisville Science Center, which is also really cool.
Okay,
Not
but-
free, but cool.
I would say Louisville's a city of parks. A lot
Yeah,
of cool
hit the
parks.
Yeah.
Like go to Iroquois. Specifically go to a park that you haven't been to before. You're always going to Cherokee.
Mm-hmm.
You're always going to Seneca. Go to Shawnee. Go to Iroquois. Go to Tyler Park. I don't know.
Yeah, and there's a new hiking trail that has just opened in Shawnee Park on Tuesday.
I've read about that.
Real hot new news.
As well
so
as
check that out.
jellyfish. There's a
Yeah.
new trail
Oh, what the
and
hell?
jellyfish
Yeah, dude.
there.
Let's talk about the jellyfish for 1 second.
Shawnee Park's lit right now.
Yeah, wow.
What is going on with the jellyfish thing?
They're freshwater jellyfish. They're like the size of a penny, but they're not native to the U.S., but they're actually kind of everywhere. So somehow they got here. I don't know how, but
Aliens?
I don't know. Maybe. They could be aliens. I don't know if
Somehow
you
we
can
all
see
got
them,
here.
but
Yeah, I kind of might think that might be true as well. So we have I don't know. I'm still kind of obsessed on the jellyfish thing. It's going to take me a little bit to kind of
Well,
get this into my head.
Yeah, they do exist. But we can also go to this one from username.
It's an invasive species. Anyway, go ahead.
I'm not going to pronounce this name because I actually don't want to attempt it. Thank you. What are the most authentic Louisville souvenir I could buy? It can be a food or an item.
I'm already thinking the Louisville Slugger bat, like one of the mini bats from
Sure.
Slugger Museum. That's iconic.
I'd say a Majeska.
A Majeska?
from
You
Moose.
don't know what a Majeska is?
Fill me in.
The Majeska is a piece of candy. The best one is you got to get it from Moose and
Moose.
Nulu.
Okay.
But it's basically, I'm going to sell it. It's a
Yeah.
fluffy marshmallow covered in mouth-watering caramel. It's not hard caramel. It's not the chewy caramel. It like melts in your mouth.
Hell yeah.
And it's individually wrapped. But it's named after an actress from, I think, like the 19th century. Her first name didn't matter because it didn't name it after that. But Majeska was her last name.
Okay.
So, yeah, the Majeska. Invented here, made here.
Nobody said Derby pie.
That's
Derby
because
pie's a good one though.
Yeah.
Oh, no. You had it there.
I know what you're going to say, too.
It's a little touristy. I'll say it.
It's a little good.
But it's
a little
yummy.
good.
Are we even allowed to say that on the podcast?
Derby
Pie TM?
Horse
You
race type
pie.
flavored branded pie.
A pie called
Yeah.
Derby?
We definitely can't
Yeah.
call it horse pie.
And the only correct answer is to grab a Louisville Ill Trail passport, which I'll shout out. Visit all the local breweries, get some nice merch and other things that you'll enjoy.
Yeah, people always like to have items and trinkets from where they go somewhere just so they can remember that place. We've also asked you to bring something and maybe part of our show and tell segment so that we can remember you too. So did you bring something for us?
I did, but y'all can't have it. Like it's strictly for show
Okay.
and tell. Like I'm not leaving it here.
Oh no, that's the rules.
This is the high life.
No.
Sorry, guys.
I will fight all of you. You can't have this.
Oh,
I feel like there should be a drum roll because of how cool this is.
Yes.
Literally, y'all will not believe the emotions that I went through to have this. I got my Louisville River Frogs jersey at a recent Louisville Bats game.
All right,
'cause
so
they
we're
were
gonna have to
doing-
explain this a little bit.
Mhm.
Yeah.
If
so-
you're a longtime Louisvillian, go ahead, take it from
yeah,
there.
so the Louisville River Frogs are our unsung ice hockey team that was skating from like 1994 or 5 to 1998.
Yeah,
And they were at Broadbent Arena and they had a bunch. Obviously they have the super cool frog.
it's the coolest like fucking sports logo that ever existed
Literally,
in history.
It's
It's
a
a-
cool frog.
It's the rainbow. It's got a rainbow frog on it, like purple, green, and yellow. It's amazing.
It looks like a Ninja Turtles, like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles character. Like they were on the vibe. They knew what the people wanted,
Yeah,
and they knew how to play hockey.
I'm just blanking on the mascot's name. It's like something. It's like Froggy something.
I can't remember either.
Froggy
was like-
Fresh.
You can read
Yeah,
about it
but-
on LOUToday.com if you just search Louisville River Frogs.
Hell yeah!
Please.
But you were privy to this like team, like you knew about the team before getting the jersey?
No. I knew about the team before I ordered.
I feel
the-
betrayed.
I learned about the team because of River Frogs Night, and I should have mentioned this in my About Me section, but frogs have been my favorite animal since I was a kid, and so I'm like, we had a frog sports team? What? So I did some research. I was like, Katie, we got to write a full story about this. This is so cool, because they apparently had like a hot tub at one of their games. Like it was apparently like a really funky time in addition to the hockey for like the inner game entertainments or whatever.
Who gets in that hot tub?
Right? Who would get in the hot tub? But it was the
People did.
Anybody who
90s.
can get close.
You
I
could do
can speak to
anything.
this. My friend in middle school was a big hockey player, and we would go to River Bats games, and they were so. Even when I was like, I mean, we must have been 15, 16 when this shit was going on. It was so fun, and it was crazy. People were nuts. It was like the 90s. There were really no rules. People were losing their minds. There was a hot tub sometimes. It was weird, and like it was just cool. They had like there was like it was a very kind of like what's a good way to put it, but like they would like make fun of the audience like on the like projector thing or like the
Jumbotron.
yeah, there you go, Jumbotron. Thank you. That was what I was looking for. Yeah, they would kind of engage with the audience, and like it was very fun.
Yeah, and they had that awesome like catchy theme song. It was like River Frogs.
Yeah.
And their catchphrase was like romp in the swamp. And I
Yep.
think that I just love the rhyme. I'm also a poet, so I love the rhyming stuff too. So I just was obsessed with this. It was so expensive. I feel like I have to mention that as well because you had to go to the game to order it specifically. And so I was like, bringing all my friends. I was like, we're going to this fucking game. And I got up there to pay, and well, first I got into the store and there were none on display left. And so I was like, no, because we got there early on purpose so that I could get a jersey, because I wanted to sit in the stands wearing the jersey, drinking the Atrium River Frogs beer,
yeah.
which was quite delicious, I must say. And
Kettle Frog Sour, was that what they did with that one?
it was like a gosa.
Oh.
It was like a watermelon-y, delicious thing. And I got up there to pay, and I swiped my card, and they're like, "Great, that's gonna be $200." And I was like, "Ugh." I swiped my card because I had made up my mind that I was gonna have it like before I even came. No price, no nada.
YOLO.
Nothing was gonna stop me. Yeah, exactly. I'm a collector of experiences. We all are.
Fuck yeah.
And
Plus, that's gonna be worth $2,000 in a couple of years.
exactly. So I've got it. No one can have it. I'm not letting anyone borrow it. And I did shed a tear after purchasing it because it was so expensive, but it was worth it. So full circle story.
Well, thank you
done.
for donating that to the podcast archive. We're really gonna cherish this treasured relic.
I will say, just the saddest thing about that whole thing is we replaced them with the fucking Panthers.
I
Just
know.
like the Panthers.
Boo, boring.
Boo. I mean, you know,
Panthers don't romp in a swamp. I'm just saying.
They don't.
No, they don't. They don't know how to have fun like river frogs.
Plus,
do.
we got some weird frogs in our river. You know, it's all polluted and shit. There's some like freaky ass frogs. This frog
is based on life.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So shout out river frogs.
Thank you very much for sharing that. It is a quintessential part of Louisville history. Makes sense that you would bring that on.
Yep.
Katie?
Oh, I thought we were just doing.
Your beer's behind you.
Is this the time for this?
Sure.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, I was told to bring a drink, and since I guess I do have kind of a beer background, somebody I'm really into right now is Turtleback Ridge. Have you guys been?
Yeah.
Yes.
They come in here. They come in here.
I've not been.
Time or two a
Keenan
month.
comes in here. Yeah. Yes.
Keegan.
But this is Farmhands table beer. I think it's really cool. To be honest with you, I've been a little bored with beer, and this kind of got me more excited about beer. I tried it for the first time like a year ago. But yeah, so I brought it to share. But they're in. Remind me what county they're in. Do you guys remember? It's like
No.
there's like horse and carriages. It is this very small county in Kentucky, like Eastern Kentucky. And I think it's so cool because it's on an actual like homestead. So you have to like drive down this like dirt road to even get to this little tiny brewery.
And it's tiny.
There's like tractors and old like ammo cases and just like it's kind of an experience. So you're kind of like, ooh, like am I, gonna show up in somebody like front yard? And you do show up in someone's front yard.
We
and it's
call it
just
the pasture.
the pasture. But also he does really cool stuff with maple syrup because they make maple syrup and he uses a lot of the not backwater, but maple water to use in his beers, like in place of actual water. But yeah, it's like a little like 5-seat like brewery in there. I can't remember. It's like 4 barrels. Am I right?
Yeah.
But I love what he's doing. I think it's really cool
Same
and
here.
unique.
And he makes some really good wild stuff.
His own strain. I forget. He's also doing stuff with like gin barrels. But I really love this beer. It kind of got me back in when I was like in a slump. Because you don't really see a lot of like farmhouse ales anymore.
Yeah.
So, and I love that style. Not all the time, but yeah, I love that. So shout out Turtleback Ridge.
I think we've been here 7 years, so I feel like it must have been almost 7 years ago that the gentleman came in and was like, "How do I make beer?"
Yeah.
So we just, that just like so many of these breweries do, you just have the conversation, and then he's like, "Yeah, I kind of want to start one on my like family's land," and it's just like, but yeah, he's one of those people that, some people you talk about beer and they keep asking questions and they try and they do. There are other people who come in and they just get it like immediately, and you can just tell. You can see the like the light flicker on behind their eyes, and he's one of those guys.
I didn't know he came in here. That's so cool. It's
been a long time ago, but yeah. Very, very nice guy and very talented, smart brewer.
Fleming County.
Fleming.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
In Ewing, Kentucky.
Oh, yeah, sure. Now, I will be honest. I had to drive this over here, and I put it in my little car holder. Beers
We like the bottle
so
dregs.
it's very possible this could foam.
Yeah.
But we will see what happens, everyone. Oh my God. Just kidding. It didn't. It's coming.
here it comes.
What
There
was
you
the
go.
episode where you tried to open a bottle and the cork like shot up to the ceiling?
That was with Buddy at Monarch.
I
That's right.
I
Yeah,
did
yeah.
open the bottle.
Yeah, you opened it
before.
perfectly. I think I was criticizing you in the moment, but you did an excellent job.
It is very funky.
So what exactly
Hell
is
yeah.
this? You mentioned maple syrup.
Oh, no. This doesn't have any maple syrup in it. This is just like a pretty
Wow.
straightforward farmhouse ale.
Hell yeah. So for those not in the know, a farmhouse ale really just kind of means like, I don't know how else you'd call it, like a saison, or it's kind of just a blank carpet of grains and hops. That's usually not the defining characteristic, although often they will tell you. But the star of the show in these things is just kind of the wild fermentation. There's definitely some kind of traditional brewer's yeast in here, like Saccharomyces type things. But usually these are kind of fermented open, which means any kind of weird bacteria that was floating around in the environment that kind of happened to find its way down in there becomes part of the beer. And then usually farmhouses are cool because there is kind of native bacteria strains that kind of inhabit different regions or whatever. So if you can kind of capture a good one, Brettanomyces, typically, or like sometimes Lactobacillus, sometimes Pediococcus, or a few other things, but it makes some truly interesting flavors out of what's usually a pretty simple like build in terms of the actual like base of the beer.
Well, thank you, because I was one of those people who is not in the know of what a farmhouse ale was. So
I can read what's on the label. It's pretty short.
Yep.
A farmhouse ale brewed with heirloom hickory king corn from Sunflower Sundries and Kentucky proud malted barley.
Okay.
I know that's right.
And it's actually Ewing, Kentucky. It says
Ewing,
it here.
okay.
Fleming County, Ewing?
Ewing,
it's-
Kentucky is the place where it is, and then
Oh.
the county is where Ewing is.
Oh, thanks for...
That's how geography
quite
works.
Yes. Thank you,
Kentucky
Michael.
has over 120 counties.
Just
like-
actually just 120, not over.
We're so illustrious.
Oh, I didn't even pour myself one.
We're almost
Wow.
there. We're almost
So
there.
how were you introduced to Turtleback Ridge?
By accident. I was actually coming back from a camping trip at Red River Gorge, stopped at Sawstone Brewing in Moorhead,
Oh yeah.
and it was like a Sunday, so nothing is open around. And we were talking to the Sawstone guys, and they're like, "Oh, you got to go up and see Keegan. Like, I'm going to call him right now." So he calls him. Then we're like obligated to go. And I was like, damn, I really just kind of want to go home. Like, haven't showered in a couple of days. Like, but we're doing it. We're doing it. And again, like you drive up and it's very unassuming. And it's like, I mean, it's a long drive to back where you need to go. And like his dad came out. I forget his dad's name, Kevin, I believe. He basically just gave us like a private tour. And I was like, this place is awesome. But also, yes, it's very in the middle of nowhere. Like a horse and buggy passed us. Like, but it's very cool. They do a lot of stuff on the weekends too, like for families. So you can like bring a chair and they usually have music. So yeah, but that's how I found Turtleback Ridge.
Do you think it's a good place to host a murder mystery?
Yes.
400 or less.
I would say yes.
I agree. Quick tasting notes on it. Basically, I just in the nose, I just get that punch of like straw blended with like peach nectar, which is just completely typical of these very well produced farmhouse beers. Did we say there was some kind of strange wood or hickory something?
It says hickory king corn.
Okay, so it's
Which-
just like a heirloom like corn or something like that.
Yes, I'm not familiar with the heirloom hickory king corn, but it is in here.
So I guess
Corntastic.
yeah,
Yes.
corntastic. Probably just pouring that in there as part of the grist, just to give those bacteria something to kind of chew
Mhm.
on as it dries out.
I'm not sure if it's a fair comparison, but I do feel like this is one of really the only one brewery in Kentucky that can kind of compare to what Scratch is doing.
Mhm. Sure.
In Illinois.
Yeah.
Just the farm to brewery type of atmosphere with all the beers that they have there. And it's also, this is just my type of beer. Like, this is what it excites me. So hearing you say that, like, you've been not burnt out, but you weren't excited by beer as much anymore, and then this kind of got you back into it. It's like, this made you remember, oh yeah, this is why I'm in this.
I think it's okay to say burnt out on beer. I think it happens.
Oh, yeah.
It happens.
You-
We all, yeah.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
lose the the luster for the giant Play-Doh stouts with vanilla and coconut, and then you return to this like lager state, and then you're like, oh well, maybe I'll branch out to the this Vienna lager or an IPA, and then all of a sudden you're just like, I don't know anymore. And like something like this that totally is, it's just radical, it's unpredictable, and you just have it, and you're like, okay, I think I like this again.
It's like tasting something new again every time, I think. But
Yeah, and you like that's the thing about like that farmhouse sales. You can't reproduce this. Like,
Yeah, you can't.
there'd be no chance that anybody could follow this method with the same ingredients and produce the same product. So there's a large variable in there.
Do you guys get that kind of like burnt out vibe on it? Because you guys are in touch with so much, like again, food and culture and everything. How do you guys keep it fresh and kind of, I don't know, because you do seem to have fresh eyes and try to find things that will appeal to the person that wants to open their email every morning at 6 a.m. and be like, well, what should we do this weekend? Or what should I do today? Or what's going on around town?
How do you
I
keep
don't
it
know.
fresh?
Yeah, how do you keep it fresh?
how are we fresh, Sarah?
So fresh.
I'm not sure if this is a safe question to answer. I don't know. I feel like taking time off is really necessary to keep things fresh. Driving around not on the expressway helps keep things fresh
Yeah,
because you
that's
never know
entirely
what
true.
you're going to pass. Going to somewhere new keeps things fresh. And also, like, we were kind of talking before we started recording about like the popularity of Reels on Instagram. And
Mhm.
like, I feel like going to experience other things kind of gives me ideas for Reels and stuff like that, or different creative ways to package seemingly mundane stuff that everybody knows about. It's like it's like fermenting in your own brain.
Hey,
right?
okay, yeah.
Okay, some beer. But,
Yeah. I definitely think also shout out to 6 a.m. I will say this, shameless plug. We get unlimited PTO and it's super awesome. It's a great company to work for. Just in that regard, they really take care of us and what we, our brain health, if you will. But yeah, keeping things fresh. We get excited about our own ideas. Each month we plan out the content. So we've already planned out September. So I think constantly being excited about something that you want to explore personally kind of keeps that drive going.
Definitely.
So yeah.
We're moving into like the kind of fun transition of the seasons. You said
Do not say spooky season.
You've planned out spooky season for us here in Louisville. Do you guys have any spooky season things on your spooky radar that you're very excited to share with the spooky audience?
I think it's too spooky to share.
We did see a ghost in here earlier, honestly, to tell everyone the truth.
No, but what I'm curious about, because you talk to other cities and other places in your work, do they have how much are you sharing about each other's cities and like what's going on? Like, are you learning about the Nash today or whatever it's called? I mean,
no, not really.
No.
So because we're so hyper local, like our limitation is that if it's anything outside of Louisville, we don't write about. Now, we hold up our sister cities. We call them sister markets, actually. So like Sarah just wrote an article about like a foodie road trip thing to Indy. So Indy today is another market. So we were able to kind of uplift them a little bit and talk about their market and things they have to offer in that scene. So yeah, there is a little bit of crossover, but
I guess
is that your question? I don't
sort
know.
of, and I don't think I phrased it right. I guess just internally talking to coworkers in other cities.
All of the time.
So what are you seeing that other cities are doing that maybe you think, oh, Louisville needs one of those, or vice versa? What is exciting other people about Louisville?
I will. Question.
Do you have something, Sarah?
No, you can go first.
So Cola today is a market in
Columbia.
Yes,
South
sorry.
Carolina.
Yeah, sorry. These are all like internal Cola today, but they are getting a lagoon, like a man-made lagoon. Like it is like a clear water like thing. It's just supposed to be very sustainable, like white sand beaches. And I'm like, that's pretty crazy.
City?
Yes, but this is inland.
Oh.
So I thought that was crazy. But to be honest with you, there's a lot of the same stuff. Like we get to read each other's like newsletters a lot of the time. I edit some of the other people's like content. So you do see a lot of crossover in terms of craft beer. A lot of people write about that. Shout out to Boss Today. Jessica writes a lot about craft beer and the craft beer scene there. But yeah, I don't know. You do see a lot of like the same kind of restaurant and drinking culture, I guess. But yeah, I don't know. Does that answer your question?
Yeah.
Lagoon.
Sarah, did you have
A
something
lagoon?
I'm still stuck on
Title
that.
Are they swamping and romping in that one?
That's what I want.
See, I just think Louisville is the most unique market. That's my problem. I just think we're so cool. But I actually will say, I hope this doesn't seem like a kiss ass answer, but a lot of our other markets, like Kansas City today, they go on like TV or like podcasts and stuff. And so I've been wanting to get on a podcast for LOUToday. So thank you all for having us. Because that's exciting to me. And then I saw in Seattle, they did a story about like those AI bots that you put in like a weird phrase and they're like
Dolly.
Yeah, like Dolly or like Seattle landmark, and they make an AI of it. And I thought that was really interesting. And that could be kind of fun to do here. But yeah, we see a lot of other markets like internally.
Yeah, well, we certainly have a lot going on here in Louisville, especially on the beer side of things. So that being said, David, what's going on in Louisville beer news right now?
Yeah, this will be fun because you guys might have already covered it in your September letter, and if you haven't, you gotta get on your schedule.
Okay.
I'm still tripping about this AI thing, but
well, we don't need to talk about that.
No, so we are fastly approaching Oktoberfest, and naturally all these breweries are going to host Oktoberfest. So Highwire is going to have their Oktoberfest September 10th. That's a great time. It should be full of Stein hoisting and other games. Last year it was a blast, and really many people had a great time. They were just trying to yodel, I guess.
They did the yodeling thing, yeah.
Gallant Fox is also going to host their own Foxtoberfest. I think this is the third year of them doing that, the 16th and 17th. Holsopple is following in the next weekend with their Oktoberfest, as well as Goodwood. And the Crusade for Children in October will be having an Oktoberfest benefiting the Crusade for Children. Does a lot of great work for Louisville.
That's in Melwood Avenue Arts Center, I believe, too. Yep. So for a good cause.
Right.
And then Against the Grain is going to be doing a week-long celebration of their Danke grain, which is not Oktoberfest, but it is the same deal.
It's the same idea. But yeah, if you can't go to the other events, Against the Grain is doing a whole week of events for you to enjoy. That's neat.
Where do y'all get your lederhosen though? Like
Lederhosen.com, Dirndl.com. No, these are real places that I've bought from before. I just today bought a new pair of Bunthosen, which is like the capris.
Nice.
Yeah. I'm gonna actually.
Yeah, I need to see a picture of that.
Of course.
I love when I go to the Oktoberfest at German American Club, and Michael is always there in his lederhosen and what'd you call it? Buttonhosen?
Bunthosen.
Bunthosen.
BUND.
Do you guys have lederhosen?
I have a Bunt cake.
I'm in the market now at this point, honestly, after hearing about these, whatever. But we need a Louisville lederhosener, I think.
I would love for anyone to try it. Louisville lederhosen, as if Louisville wasn't already hard to pronounce. Let's put two
Louisville
L words
lederhosen. Yeah.
together.
It's going to be a good spooky season coming up, so there's going to be lots of fun things to do around town. I'm excited for it. This is my favorite time of the year, honestly, when things start to go kind of fall weird. You can drink Oktoberfest. You can drink brown ales. You can drink porters and stouts.
You can just drink. So there's a lot going on that we're all really excited about. Thank you guys so much for coming on and just sharing what you all do and kind of sharing your story as well. Is there anything going on that we should know about that you two are particularly excited about, or or just something that you just want to plug?
Ooh, that is a good question. I wish I had thought about it before we got here.
I know what I want to plug. The Leo Weekly Reader's Choice Awards are
there you
open now, and there is a category for best publication. I would love it if everyone would write in LOUToday for that. And then also, it's like 200 other things you can vote for.
Podcast. We're not going to.
Yes. Yes.
Best publication.
We're not a
Publication.
Oh,
We already voted for you for podcast.
there's a podcast category.
I hope you voted for us on the best Louisville Ale Trail category.
Yeah, whatever we did. I promise you, I typed it in today. I was like, no.
Yeah, but you can vote for like 200 other categories. So share the local love, spread it, vote for LOUToday. I like to win. I'm not competitive, but I like to win.
And also, if you're not subscribed, just LOUToday.com. Get subscribed. It's free.
It's genuinely good content. It's great.
That's nice to hear. Thank you, Michael.
Yeah, I'm going to shout out the same thing. You guys should go to Leo, because you guys have you been around more than a year?
1 year. We
Okay,
just
I was
turned
gonna
1
say,
year in August,
that's
earlier this
awesome.
month.
You guys need to win that shit.
Right?
Go to the Leo and vote for LOUToday for
We've
the
put
best
down roots.
local
It's-
publication. Yeah, because
it's
like truly,
time.
I don't really ever care about anything else. You guys are my source of what's hip and what's going on.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, we'll just stop telling you things, John. No
And
problem.
vote for our podcast too, I guess, apparently. Yeah, that's my other shout out.
I'm excited for the 3-year return of Bourbon and Beyond and Louder in Life coming back into Louisville. We got great headliners: Jack White, Alanis Morissette, Kings of Leon, Brandy Carlisle. The cast from Always Sunny in Philadelphia is going to be there. Back at the Highlands the Highland Festival ground, right on the fairgrounds. So I can't wait to attend that. There's tickets going fast, but if you happen to want to stop in town for that, bourbonandbeyond.com, louderinlife.com. Check out their Instagram. They're doing weekly mashups with distilleries. There's going to be a ton of bourbon there as well. Some stuff you might not get to taste in a normal format. So,
Will all of the Louisville Ale Trail giveaways be done by the time this podcast
Yes.
is out? Okay. Well, sorry, guys. Hopefully you won some tickets through us.
September 15th through the 18th.
I'll be there on the 17th.
Oh, that'll be great. I'm gonna give a quick shout out to Bunthosen, which I'll show you all a picture of right now on this audio medium.
Oh,
See, it's
sick.
Oh, hell yeah.
it's the capris.
So what is the lederhosen the whole thing?
The lederhosen are the shorts.
So
But
what
wait
is
a
the
second.
halter top part called?
Those are suspenders.
Those are the,
Oh my
the
God.
Oh
leaders.
man, we should call
Cut
them
that
like
There's the
suspender
leaders and
hosen
the
at
hosen.
least.
Yeah. But either way, if you call them lederhosen, that's fine. I don't care. I'm not going to judge you for it.
Cool.
I also thought about getting a cool waistcoat. We'll see if I do that. A little
You should.
old traditional sweater vest. Anyway, shout out to lederhosen. Shout out to LOUToday. Shout out to the Louisville Ale Trail.
And,
Because we're
and
just shouting out
all
ourselves.
garments made out of goat skin.
Thanks, guys.
That's what I want. Yeah. Thank you all for listening,
Cheers.
and thank you all for coming.
I just did that.